92% of leaders are pouring money into AI. McKinsey found only 1% call their company mature at using it. MIT went further. 95% of AI pilots inside companies produce zero measurable return. Today, I'm asking 3 questions hiding behind that gap and showing you the 15-person boardroom I built to answer them. Here's the myth. The myth is that AI adoption is a technology decision. Buy the tool, train the team, and done. But that is not what is actually happening in your organization right now. What is actually happening is quieter than that. It is a leader sitting at their desk late at night, staring at a login screen for a tool they were told to champion, and feeling something they won't say out loud in the meeting. They are not asking, how do I use it? They are asking something underneath that. Am I still necessary? If a machine can draft the strategy memo, run the numbers, summarize the meeting, what exactly am I bringing into the room? That question often doesn't show up on a training slide, but it is the real reason adoption stalls. It is not resistance. I believe it is identity confusion. AI is doing the work that used to prove your worth, and that leaves you wondering, what is actually left? That is you. And that is really the game of leadership right now, isn't it? Every generation of leaders has faced a moment where the tools got smarter and they had to figure out fast what part of the job was still theirs. That question, what part of the job is still yours, is one of the pressing issues I write about every 2 weeks in a newsletter called The Rooted Guild. It is leadership, AI, and entrepreneurship, short and free. And it goes deeper than what I can cover in the short time that we have here. Link is in the description if you want in. Back to the discussion. Jack Welch ran General Electric for 20 years and turned it into one of the most valuable companies on earth. In his book, Jack, Straight from the Gut, he laid out 6 rules he ran the company by. Rule number 6 is often ignored, but it is the one that matters here. It says, if you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. Think about that for a second, because most leaders are approaching AI backwards. They are asking, how do we compete by using AI? Welch's rule flips that. The real question is, does our use of AI create an advantage we didn't have before? Or are we just doing what everyone else is doing, slightly faster? If it is the second one, you are not adopting AI. You are just keeping up. And keeping up is not a winning strategy. That is the fastest way to become a business that once existed. So, if keeping up isn't the advantage, what is? That is where it stops being about the tool and starts being about how you see the whole thing. Seth Godin has spent years thinking about what makes a business matter, and his take on AI is one of the most useful reframes I've come across. His point is simple. AI is good at competence. It can produce the average report, the average email, the average plan, instantly and cheaply. So, if your value as a leader was ever just, I do competent, standard work reliably, that value is evaporating fast. But competence was never the ceiling. It was the floor. What AI cannot do is originality. It cannot do trust. It cannot sit across from a scared employee and make them feel safe enough to tell you the truth. It cannot build a culture where people take a risk because they know you will have their back if it doesn't work. Godin's warning is that some leaders will use AI to shrink, cut headcount, squeeze a little more efficiency, call it a strategy. He said, quote, "You can shrink your way to greatness," unquote. I truly believe the leaders who win this next stretch are the ones who go the opposite direction. They use what AI frees up: the time, the repetitive work, the first drive, to put more humanity into the business, not less. So, what does that actually look like in practice? Here is what I have been building, and I want to walk you through it. Picture a boardroom, 15 seats. Every seat has an executive in it: a CEO, a CFO, a chief strategy officer, a general counsel. 15 specialized voices, each one trained on the thinking and philosophy of someone who mastered that exact seat, someone you'd call a mentor in your field. For instance, the CEO seat trained on Jeff Bezos style long-term thinking. The CFO seat trained on Ruth Porat style capital discipline, and so on, across all 15. This is Helm. This is the Pocket C-suite that has the 15 seat boardroom. So as you can see, here is the landing page. As you go through, you see every decision is yours. The preparation is for the AI console. So again, as you see, preparation, then precision. This tool will give you a brief intelligence. You'll be able to call on all of the seats to get their feedback, their input. Now let's go into the dashboard itself. So as you can see, as you open it, you land on the comment center. And this is Thursday, August 13th. Then you can see all the agents. You see 13 agents there. That is online. And I have 39 open action to do. And this tool allows you to see your week in review, as you can see there. And then you can also ask it quick question that you want some answers for. You see the list of all the open actions. So here is the morning brief. So every time that you come in the morning, you can see if you are someone who is interested in knowing what the news is talking about globally, you can look at what you're interested about based on how you set it. It will give you all the most important news that you're interested in. And here, the strategic radar are the ones related to your industry. As a CEO, you might be interested in a morning reflection, your own personal development, and also a devotion. Let me go and show you the most important thing. Here, you have the board. That's the internal board of the 15 or more. So you have the CEO, you have the CFO, you have the CTO, you have the CPO. So there is a strategic layer. You have also an executive layer. You have a legal, risk, and governance. So you can turn any one of these on and off as you wish. Okay. So now let's go and let's do a mock-up of how you run a strategy before you go into a very important meeting. This is what this is really about, how you prepare. So you have the executive review room. You see you have the full board, you have the strategic layer, you have rapid fire. Now, to run this, there's a framework called the CREATE framework by Geoff Wood. He runs the company called AI Leadership. It's called CREATE, and CREATE just means C for context. You have the R, which is the role. You have the I. You allow the AI to interview you for clarification. That's the only way you get a good result. Otherwise, garbage in, garbage out. So you have the task, what you want it to return. Okay, let's try that. So I have some prepared prompt that I'm going to put in so we can see how it works. I'm a solo founder running a multi-product venture serving small businesses, which is coaching and training, consulting, and AI system optimization. I'm at the stage where I need to bring people in, but I don't want to hire, run, and burn runway or trust. That is the context. Now, I'm going to put in the role. So for time's sake, I'm just going to paste it in, and I'm going to fill in the I, which will allow the counsel to interview me or to ask me clarifying questions. And I'm going to put in the task. Based on my answers, give me a clear go or no go on recruiting right now with the specific blind spot I need to address before bringing anyone in. And if go, the exact first role I should hire, and in what structure: employee, contractor, equity partner, or revenue share. Okay, with that done, I'm going to apply that to the board. So you have the context, the role, the interview, and then the task. So I'm going to ask it to interview me. So it got 3 questions I'm going to try to answer. So I just pasted my answer into the answer box. And as you can see, now I can convene the board, which is clicking on it. So you can see it's working. Okay. Here's the board dialog. So how it does is that you read the feedback from each one of the council. The COO, for instance, has its verdict, the CFO as well. And the way this is done is that it's going to bring an answer based on the different people that you are looking up to on those seats. For instance, the CEO will be Jeff Bezos. And as you can see on the screen, you can get a full report, and you can also get an executive brief. So let's get the executive brief. And as you can see on my screen, it's well labeled Helm. And here you can see the brief has just a summary version of the things that you need to look at in order to make a decision. And so the most important things are highlighted. So the strategy context is this: your moat is your credibility and close rate. And right now, every unsystematized follow-up, every manual onboarding hour, and every unpublished content draft is quietly eroding the flywheel that built your revenue in the first place. Another one, he says, the core recommendation is a conditional go. Then he'll tell you everything related to that. And you can get the full report itself. So, as we saw, the whole idea rests on one division of labor. Let AI do what AI does well: synthesize, model, draft, and let the founder do what only the founder can do: make the final call, sit with the people, build the relationship that makes the strategy survivable when implemented in the real world. The point isn't that the AI decide. The point is that by the time you walk into the real room with real people, you've already stress test your own thinking against 15 sharp perspective. You show up more decisive, not less human. The pattern we see with AI now is not new. I want to zoom out for a second. But before we get to that, if this is landing for you, hit like and subscribe, and send this to one leader who is top of mind. Make this a gift to them, and it helps us to grow the platform as well. Okay, back to the story. Every generation of humans has faced a version of this exact moment. A force shows up that is more powerful than anything they've handled before, and it splits people into 2 groups. Think about fire. For most of early human history, fire was something that happened to you. Lightning struck a tree, and you either ran from it or you froze near it, and it eventually burned out. Then at some point, somebody figured out how to keep it, how to feed it, how to carry it from one camp to the next. Same fire, completely different relationship to it. The people who feared fire stayed cold and stayed prey. The people who learned to embrace it cooked their food, warded off predators, and gathered a tribe around the warmth. The fire didn't change. Their relationship to it did. AI is not fire. I know that. But the pattern is the same. It is not about whether the force is here. It is here either way. It is about whether you learn to embrace it or whether you spend your energy being afraid of something that was never going anywhere. So here is how I will close. Not with an answer, but with the same 3 questions I opened with, except now you've got more to work with. Question number 1. What part of your leadership is actually you, and what part was just competence you could have outsourced all alone. Number two, if you had a room of 15 sharp minds ready to argue with you before your next big decision, would you actually use it? Or would you be afraid of what they'd say? Question number three, and if AI is the fire this generation has to learn to embrace, are you embracing it, or are you still standing at a distance, waiting to see if it burns out? I don't know your answer. I'm not sure you do yet either. But this is the advantage of joining a platform like this. You don't have to navigate this alone. Watch this next video to see how one company survived 107 plus years and is still going strong. See you in the next one. God bless.